Cool.
Here we are.
Yes.
Unscripted.
Yeah. Christmas version.
Christmas version of Unscripted.
That's right.
This is usually what we get. We unpack these stupid little songs before
This before we go live.
So you should hear our before conversations.
No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. Not at all. So.
Oh man, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Hi guys.
On this episode of Unscripted with Marshall Brown and Brandon Dodd. Glad that you guys are here with us. We are connected to the internet, getting things good to go so that we can see y'all's comments, both on Facebook and on YouTube. So thank you guys for joining us. We are, man, we've crossed the threshold now.
Yeah.
You know, you have all of the thoughts of, man, you can't do Christmas before Thanksgiving.
Right.
You can't, there's all the haters out there.
Although some people did.
That's right.
Yeah.
I being one of those people.
I just said some people. I didn't say anybody in particular.
Here we are.
Yes.
And it is full on.
We are in December now.
Time to go.
Yeah.
Christmas time is here. The playlists are
Is it 3 weeks? 4 weeks away? 4 weeks away.
Yeah.
From tomorrow.
Christmas Eve. Yeah.
So Christmas Eve would be 4 weeks from today.
Here we go.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
Countdown time.
Ready to go.
So,
Ready to go. Cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Like we said, as we're moving forward, we're obviously live and stuff too. So if you've got comments, man, let us know where you guys are streaming from, whether that be your couch or your kitchen. Maybe you're just tuning us in while you're driving or something like that. But let us know. Maybe not if you're driving, but let us know where you're at, who you're watching with.
I'm driving right now.
what all is going on? If we don't hear from you after you say it from your driving, we're gonna double check and make sure that you're good.
Everything's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously, comment right now. Tell us where you're watching from. Let us know where you're at. Yeah. We'd love to connect with you. So, okay, Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? Christmas is here now.
Yeah. And because of that, we are taking a step back on what we normally do for Unscripted. So we've been doing, the questions series, frequently asked questions. And so that ended a while back, but we've been doing frequently asked questions here on Unscripted. And that's been awesome. Yeah. We're almost done. We were trying to make sure that we get every question.
We've answered more than we've not answered.
Okay. Yes. That's a pretty good way
there you go.
of saying it. Yeah. So
we've answered a lot of questions.
We're taking a step back from the questions and everything right now.
That's right.
And are just moving into Christmas season because, what all should we talk about except for Christmas?
That's right.
That's the thing that all of us want to be focused on right now, hopefully.
Really, you don't hear much about Christmas this time of year, so it's really something that we probably need to focus on.
We're just trying to get into the season.
That's right.
Where nobody else is talking about it.
That's right. Just us.
We're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it tonight. So
that's right. Yeah. And so that's exactly what we're doing tonight, which by the way,
yes,
a certain Christy Alexander said that they are in the kitchen
Christy
eating
Alexander
tacos
Brown
right now. Yes.
Yeah. Eating tacos.
I wish I was eating tacos.
Those are homemade tacos, by the way. Those aren't store-bought.
All right. I know what I'm doing after Unscripted. So
you're welcome to come by. Cool. If there's anything left. There are 3 boys at the house, so there may not be any left for you. Not. Hey, but okay, so talking about Christmas, like one of the things that Brandon and I were wondering is like how many of us are actually like in Christmas mode now, or has it because, there was a time when people were like, man, I'm working from home. I don't ever leave the house. I don't even know what day it is or what month it is, that kind of stuff. Like, do you even realize, hey, Christmas is, just right around the corner. So
that has been weird.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, I know I've talked to a couple of people, it's all of a sudden Christmas is here.
Yeah. Or if you've been preparing, and I'm not criticizing, if you've been preparing for Christmas,
yes,
for a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, are you sitting there now going, man, I've already been doing Christmas for a while, and it's already starting to drag a little bit.
Yeah, Normally I'll be listening to the playlists, Christmas playlist, like the week before Thanksgiving.
Right.
But this year I was like, I just don't want to get burnt out on it. Like I want to be
trying to pace yourself a little bit.
Peak Christmas season. Like, December 24th, I'm like, man, these songs are so good, so fresh and stuff.
Yeah.
But
So the question to ask you guys while we're getting ready to start, or kind of getting started tonight, we want to ask you guys, like, how do you know, when do you personally know I'm ready for Christmas? Like I am in full Christmas mode. I'm ready for Christmas to be here. Is it when Thanksgiving's over? Is it when the calendar changes to December? Is it when you get the decorations up? Is it when you get all your shopping done? Is it
the
Christmas Eve?
Yeah, the 24th.
Like, now I'm ready for Christmas.
Now it's here.
Is it Christmas Day? When do you feel like now I'm in Christmas mindset. I'm in Christmas mode. I'd love for you to comment right now. Just tell us, when is that? So when is that for you? When is that typically for you?
Oh man. Okay. So I'm going to out myself. I'll
Go ahead. That's fine.
For the past couple of years, with this year excluded, I don't know why. We were just too busy. But on my birthday, November 12th, that's like we bust out the Christmas decoration. And that's what we'll do. Not for my birthday, but it's like, man, before we do.
Oh my goodness!
Don't
I
judge
didn't
me,
know you
don't
did
judge
it that
me.
early.
I'm so sorry.
I knew people were doing it before Thanksgiving, but like a few days before Thanksgiving. You're like,
I'm sorry. A week and a half.
Oh my gosh, man! I do. I'm struggling a little bit with judgment right now.
It brings me joy. And so, for the past 2 years,
so basically, November 13th, you're in Christmas mode. You're like good to go.
Yeah. Well, my little brother too, like he's got the date, or at least whenever he was little, he had the countdown to Christmas on his phone, and it started like January 5. So like, that's
so how many days
let's get
we're there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I would think. What about you?
So for me, probably it's when the decorations go up. It's like, okay, now I'm ready for Christmas. And
you literally turn on the lights to Christmas mode.
Yeah, exactly. Now, and probably even that, I don't know if I've always been that way. Maybe I have, back when you're in college, like get back from Thanksgiving break and then you're ready for Christmas, like it's just kind of
that's kind of what Scotty said. He says, once school is out, it's Christmas time.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Mine would be just at least more recently, my, adulthood is when the decorations come out, then I'll start playing the music. Yeah. And there was this is many, many years ago. Honestly, I think we only had one kid at the time. And we had some people over to the house, and Christy fixed a big pot of chili, and we got, the tree out, and we got ornaments out, and we decorated, and everybody just was over decorating stuff and whatever. And Aaron, my friend Aaron was like, man, this is the greatest Christmas ever. And like,
what a compliment.
I'm like,
man.
Yeah, man, it is. It's like, look at what we did. And so from then on, for the next several years, whenever the lights on, like, not even if he was there, whenever the lights came on the tree and whenever the decorations came out, I would take a picture and like send it to him, like, hey, it's time for the greatest Christmas ever. And he's like, yeah, so I think that's kind of, at least in adulthood, like once the decorations come out, I'm ready for Christmas. Some of you may not even be there. Some of you, you've been in Christmas mode since last Christmas. I don't know, but
I connect with y'all.
Anyway, we just kind of wanted. We were kind of joking earlier. We don't want to. I don't know, bore people with Christmas information, and
Sure.
like, seriously, we're going to talk about Christmas again. So tonight we're hoping to kind of shine the light on the story of Christmas and looking specifically at some of the things that Scripture says that probably get left out of the nativity scenes, and probably we don't necessarily sing Christmas carols about a census and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
The census is coming.
So we wanted to kind of look at some of the historical context of what was actually happening in Jesus' culture when he arrived, and why that matters to the Christmas story, outside of just Joseph, Mary, the virgin birth, all that kind of stuff, but just like what was happening in the culture that Jesus was living in.
And I think that's important for us to talk about too, because like, I don't know, you being a minister for a couple of years now.
A couple,
right?
Yeah.
How many times, not even in ministry, how many times do you think that total in your mind you've like read the Christmas story?
Oh, countless. I wouldn't even know
I
what figure to put on it.
What even number remotely is close to something like that.
I don't even know. 100?
All of that.
Yeah.
So I think what's really easy for us, especially with the passages that we as Christians read all the time, it's really easy for us to, not that we're in a rut, but it's really easy for us to be like, I know what Luke 2 says.
Right.
Okay, I know what the first 5 chapters of Matthew are about.
Right.
Like I know those. I can quote them. They're there.
Yeah.
So let's like dive in a little bit deeper and try and look at those things with fresh eyes, which is difficult at times.
But also, like, we can acknowledge that some of the stuff we're going to be talking about tonight, you may have heard before. You may have done some study on it yourself. You may have heard one of us talk about it in a sermon. But we just kind of want to spend some time together tonight, again, kind of unwrapping.
Get out.
Yeah, I did that. Unwrapping the Christmas story a little bit, and
that's the title.
A little bit, I don't know, a little bit closer picture of what's happening. So cool. First off, Jesus is born, to Joseph and Mary, which seems like a really sweet story on the front end. This young couple, and they have this little baby, and
so nice.
they're in a
so silent.
I mean, are they in a back lot behind a hotel? Are they in a family stable behind the house? Are they in a cave? I mean, there's all those kinds of things. But besides all that, the whole fact that Mary is pregnant with this child, why was that a big deal?
Like in the time of the culture and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a couple of things.
Yeah.
That, from face value, you got there's the miraculous birth. The fact that she was a virgin.
Yeah. So never had sex before, but she's pregnant.
Nope. Here she is. So that's a little questionable and scandalous. Mm-hmm. But then also, let's see. Yeah, they're not in a hospital or something, or surrounded by family.
Right.
Like it's just her and Joseph, and they're like away from home, but like also in home. There's just a lot of different stuff that's going on.
Yeah, but even before they had to go to Bethlehem, which we'll talk about in just a second. I mean, just the whole she gets pregnant, and it's a scandal. If you go to Matthew chapter 1, like Joseph is like, "Whoa, I'm engaged to this girl," and engagement in the Jewish culture at that time was almost the same thing as marriage. You just hadn't had sex yet,
right?
That's all it was. But you were like, if that girl that this is in the Old Testament. You can go look this up. If that girl that you were engaged to ended up having sex with somebody else, that was considered adultery, even though y'all hadn't officially gone through the wedding ceremony
you guys
yet.
It's like an arrangement.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to be married. You
had this whole, time of betrothal and all the kind of stuff that we won't get into tonight, but just, there's a time period involved in it, but the fact that Mary turns up pregnant and then comes to Joseph and is like, "Hey, I got something to tell you. I'm pregnant." Like, whoa. And just, the typical response would be, who is he? And like, what, how could you? Just think of the emotions that Joseph was going through, because all it says in Matthew chapter 1 is like, she gets pregnant and Joseph just quietly wants to kind of break off the engagement and not make a big deal about it.
He's more a man than I am.
Man, think about, Matthew doesn't even talk about the emotions that Joseph would be going through. How crushed would he feel? Or embarrassed or whatever.
For sure. And I think that the killer too is because if I'm Joseph, I got those questions. I got these things like, okay, who is he? What how did this happen? But not only that, she's gonna blatantly lie. Yeah.
No. It's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. I was just, in my house, and then this angel, you're gonna give birth, and it's gonna be the Son of God named Jesus. Like, you don't even give me the dignity of like telling me what actually
idiot
happened.
Do you think I am? Yeah,
this is stupid. So of course Joseph's like, I'll divorce her, but like full of humility, I'll do it quietly too.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about Joseph.
We don't have to make this
I think, and I don't want to read into it too much, but I think about Joseph, like you get a picture like how much affection he actually had for Mary, because there were marriages back in this time that were just they were prearranged.
Yeah.
You might not have
family powers.
Yeah, you might not have choice as to who it was you're going to marry. And there was a lot of times those were very loveless marriages. Maybe they developed an affection for each other after a while, but for Joseph to want from the get go to go, I want to make sure she's taken care of in this process. The Bible says he's a righteous man. He's got a good heart, but I think it's also like. He actually cared about her.
Yeah.
That even though I think she got knocked up by some other guy, I still care enough about her. I don't want her to be embarrassed by this.
That's like straight up.
What a good dude, man.
Yeah, 1 Corinthians 13, love, man.
Yeah,
that's like,
seriously.
love is patient and kind, even though she's lying. Like, what is this?
Okay, so there's that. The scandal in the first place. And then they're living in Nazareth, but then that's not where Jesus was born. Jesus was born in Bethlehem. So why they go to Bethlehem? Why they go, Brandon?
It's the verse that we, I remember growing up and reading and stuff in Luke 2. And it's like, in those days when Quirinius was governor over, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There was a census in the land of the entire Roman world. So there's a census.
Yeah.
Right? Which we definitely know a lot about in 2020, right?
We just had one. Yeah. We had a census. Right? Yeah. We even got to do it online. We didn't have to have somebody come by and knock on the door, although some people did.
Yeah, we got to do it online. Can you imagine, like, with Mary and Joseph, like, we were like, oh, man, you can just do it online.
Yeah.
That'd be so nice.
Yeah.
No, for them, it was, hey, we're living here, but this is where my clan, this is from, it said that, Joseph from the line of David and stuff, so this is where we're going.
Well, and even beyond that, like it says, this is Augustus. which, Caesar Augustus, that may not mean a whole lot to us unless you've taken, Western Civ or something like that. But,
yeah, just last
Caesar,
week,
like the emperor of the Roman Empire, wants to take a census. Why? Well, you charge money to your subjects, and you need to know how many you've got. And, and as the Roman Empire is expanding, they're taking over more territory. You got this army you got to continually supply and feed. You got, all these
building infrastructure,
building
projects,
bridges, roadways,
all
all that kind of stuff. That's got to be paid for somehow. So
census.
how do you do it? You get taxes. How do we know how much taxes you get? Well, you got to count how many people you got and make sure that you get all the money from
It's
them.
so funny because we do the exact same thing.
For sure.
This year. And this is
the same process.
Thousands of years ago. Yeah,
Right.
it really is. Like, hey,
Right.
just check the box that you're here.
The problem is you couldn't go online back in Jesus' day, and even they couldn't just walk around, house to house and go, hey, because there'd be people living out in the forest. There's people wandering around the wilderness. I mean, like, how do you do that? So you make everybody go to the location of not necessarily their hometown, but their ancestors' hometown. Like, where did we come from? So even for me, maybe I go to Oklahoma because that's where my grandparents are from. I don't know.
I think I go to Oklahoma too.
Okay. So we would end up in Oklahoma.
So 4 generations in Texas that came from Oklahoma for us.
Yeah. So I don't know if you go to, anyway, I don't know how they figured out what city you went to.
Where are you going, guys? Where you going?
But that's why they had to go back to Bethlehem, because that's where the line of David was from. And they came back, to their clan was from Bethlehem. Which
I don't even have the notes here. I mean, how big of a journey is that from Bethlehem to?
From Nazareth to Bethlehem, I actually saw this when I was doing some study for this, about 90 miles.
Okay. On foot.
On foot, maybe, you see all the nativity scenes and stuff. She's riding on a donkey, and it might have been. We don't know.
Sure.
But it's quite possible, because Joseph is a poor carpenter. Who knows what kind of modes of transportation he could afford.
He just cut out some wooden wheels. And
she may be walking.
Yeah.
90 miles.
So how pregnant is this lady?
She has to be pretty far along, because while they're there in town was when she has the baby.
It's like that. Well, yeah.
So this it's not like early on in the pregnancy.
This is third trimester, the painful, that's what I hear, the painful part of pregnancy. Like, oh my gosh, let this child just come.
Well, it's when
right now.
You really get into I don't know, feet swelling, and you can't sleep. You can't get in a comfortable position. And
you're constantly just
uncomfortable. You get hot, for no reason, and all that kind of stuff. So I guess
this is a prime opportunity.
Let me ask that then. I don't know. I don't know if we'll get any answers right now, but if you're watching this right now, watching live, I would love for you to comment right now. Like, what was especially you ladies, what was the hardest part of pregnancy for you? What was the thing that, man, this is at the top of my list, or whatever I struggled the most to deal with, hated most, got most frustrated with, whatever. What was the pregnancy thing you had to deal with? Go ahead and comment on that. Because the thing is, Mary's dealing with those things. That's not uncommon to have issues with pregnancy. So whatever your issue was, imagine having that and then having to travel by foot or by bumpy wagon or by donkey back for 90 miles.
And that's right. You're talking hey, ladies, let's share, your hardest part of pregnancy. I gotta give Joseph some props in some ways, right? Because first off, he's hey, 3rd trimester, perfect time for us to go and do a 90-mile journey.
Great planning.
We should definitely do that. He doesn't really have a choice, I guess. He's got to go there.
I wonder while they're getting down the road, just I can't believe you're
nagging
making us go. Yeah,
nagging him at it the whole time.
And it's just pregnancy hormones talking, but still, it's just I hate you, Joseph.
and Joseph trying to take care of her and trying to at night whenever they're, or maybe it's during the day because maybe they travel at night, so when it's nicer.
Yeah,
but rubbing her feet, rubbing sand on her belly, I don't know. What are you doing here?
Yeah. So going through all those pregnancy problems, dealing with all that.
She's like, man, I'm really craving some Galilean fish. That'd be great. He's like, that'd be great.
Yeah. We can. But then they get to Bethlehem, and what's the big issue?
More props to Joseph. Where are we sleeping, buddy?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because that's his thing.
That's
the
your
reason
job,
the reason that they're traveling here is for a family tribal census.
it's his family that they're going to have to get counted, right?
Oh, so not only, now you're making me travel these 90 miles.
Yeah.
Like, then we show up and they don't have a bed for us.
Yeah.
We got to sleep on the queen
There's
side.
nowhere
outside
for the pregnant lady to sleep.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that too. Like, they show up and she's like, I am in labor right now. And like Uncle Fred's like, hey, who's that at the door? Oh, be quiet.
Yeah.
We don't want to let them in. Like,
you might want to stay
down.
here.
What if she wants to stay here? Shut the door. Shut
Yeah,
the door. Like,
yeah.
man, there must have been some like, dude, let this lady in.
I guarantee
Doesn't
there
happen.
was. Yeah.
So then there's Joseph too. I'm just imagining, I don't know why I imagine them as like just this angry little couple, but Mary like grabbing Joseph's like, shirt right here and be like, why is there no room for us here? Who didn't you call?
Just came 90 miles and you got nowhere for us to stay. Yeah, because
good job.
Here's the thing.
We ain't even married yet, buddy. Like, this is not great.
But there had to have been family members there. Everybody from your family had to show up at the ancestors' place, right? So now, I mean, Bethlehem typically was a few hundred people. Now probably a few thousand for all the people that had come into town. So I'm not saying it wouldn't be hard to find some place to go.
Yeah.
But still, man, somebody help out the pregnant woman. Nope.
Yeah, she's just walking down the road, obviously in labor, and people are like, oh, did you look at that? All right, let's keep cutting the turkey, babe. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, maybe it's, prophecy or whatever. Maybe it's just part of the humble, I'm sure, a part of the humble plan of all of it.
Yeah,
altogether.
absolutely. So then the birth happens, and actually we're going to talk more about that next week. So
are you telling me that we're not going to talk about the birth of Jesus?
I mean, we can. I'm kind of looking at our notes and what all we want to cover, and we're so
I say that because we're going to talk about that a little bit more next week.
We are,
right. We're going to get into some of the nitty gritties of that stuff, which I'm excited about. So sure, let's skip over.
Okay, but we can acknowledge so where's the birth end up taking place? In some type of barn/stable. Yeah. Again, some scholars think because there's a lot of caves in the hills around Bethlehem. Yeah. So that's where a lot of animals would be kept. I mean, kind of a natural shelter from thieves, from weather, that kind of stuff. And so quite possibly they could be in a cave or, some kind of, picturing kind of our typical stables that we see in nativity scenes. That could actually be it. Like some kind of lean-to, like some kind of covering, that the animals could get under.
Nothing says welcome to the Son of God, right, like
births
a lean-to.
Nowadays take place in really pristine hospital. I mean, this year, like people can't even go. Like you can't even have as many people in the room because of COVID fear.
Yeah,
because of COVID fear, germs and stuff. They're in a barn. They're in like outdoors, unclean, unsanitized place where. Maybe even pushing animals like who are coming over to see what's going on. Like get out,
Yeah.
And she's going. There's no put them with pain killing drugs or anything like that. She's going through this whole thing. I mean, I don't want to get too graphic, but she hasn't had sex and now she's pushing a baby out. I mean, it had to have been a painful experience for her.
Sure.
Joseph's helping her through that whole thing. Who knows? I don't know how much experience he'd had with that. And then
probably
what do you have for a crib? A feeding trough.
And that's why you're pushing the animals away. Like you put them in there in the food bowl.
And there's probably some animals going, "What the heck, man?"
Yeah.
Like,
where's the?
I'm trying to get them. I'm trying to get in my hay here.
Yeah, and that's all you have.
Yeah.
Dirty, nasty. I mean, he's in swaddling cloths.
Yeah.
But
which is basically spare cloths that they wrapped him up in.
Yeah.
So not that sanitary. Yeah.
Mom and dad, not exactly the best of scenarios here.
Yeah. Okay, so then at some point, sometime after that, I say at some point, these wise men show up, these Magi, depending on what translation of the Bible you're using. It's in Matthew chapter 2. So
wise men.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to make these thoughts of what these wise guys are, like from our nativity scenes and stuff, I'm like, okay, they're just rich guys that bring gifts out of nowhere.
And apparently they're really smart because we call them wise men.
Yeah. And they also have great timing because they show up like right after the birth.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
And then like, I don't know, in all the nativity scenes, you got 3. And then they have like the weird gifts too, like gold. Okay, that makes sense. Thanks for the gold.
Yeah.
Frankincense and myrrh. Question mark. How about some diapers, buddy? Like, we don't even have anything right now.
Some food.
Okay.
Food
food would be good. Yeah, let's get a meal train. No, here's some
We had Greg Salen and Aaron Coffey brought us Arby's when our kids were born. So, yeah. So,
okay, so
they didn't have that. They didn't bring Arby's to Mary.
Instead, they brought myrrh.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so these guys, right? They're wise men, obviously, but most people think that these are ancient astrologers, very smart guys that read signs in the stars and are able to interpret their life by those kinds of things. And so they are super aware of a lot of different religious activities and festivals and stuff that could be pointing to, hey, this is happening in the heavens and the spiritual realm. This is what's happening now. Right. So did they they didn't show up there?
No, they didn't show up by accident. Obviously, I mean, and Scripture says they followed a star. What was the star? Was it an actual star that was floating across the sky? Was it a comet that they were following? We don't know for sure.
And we know stops above the
and then it stops above where they're supposed to find Jesus. And then what time is it? When did this happen? Well, it's probably not the night of, even though like our typical picture is the wise men and the shepherds showing up at the same time.
Yeah,
but probably not. It's probably. The birth happened sometime before that.
Yeah.
And they show up, and then all we know is that they're these Magi from the east, probably the area of what would nowadays be Iraq.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, which was the area that the ancient Israelites got deported to.
I hadn't thought about that.
500, almost 600 years before Jesus. And so not all of those people, when the Israelites came back after their captivity, not all of them came back.
Yeah.
There was a dominant area of people of a Israelite heritage that were living in Babylon, in that eastern part.
A little pocket. That's where you get Esther and Mordecai.
And so it could be that these guys are descended or had knowledge of all the prophecies about the Messiah and stuff, and at least has some awareness of a Messiah that was coming. Here's kind of the signs that are going to lead up to it. But the key factor about when they came is the fact that who they stopped off to talk to first, which was this guy Herod.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
who was introduced to us in these, and we're like, who is this guy? Because it seems like he's just this random presence that just shows up.
Right.
But he's obviously not.
But he's not. No, he's like really important. Not necessarily, I mean, somewhat in the Bible story, but in history, in the time frame. He's the guy that built the temple that Jesus, when he's doing his adult ministry and he goes to the temple, Herod that's talked about in Matthew chapter 2 is the guy that built that.
Like a huge deal.
Yeah. I mean, he's very powerful. He's really smart. He's like an engineer, architect kind of guy, as well as
a political
genius, and ruthless.
Yeah. Genius in the terms of
ruler.
I'll kill you.
Yeah. So a couple of things I want to tell you about Herod, in case you didn't know. This guy they call Herod the Great. He actually wasn't Jewish by blood. So
Jewish by
his
marriage.
ancestors had kind of converted to Judaism. So technically he was Jewish, but his family kind of proselyted into Judaism. He wasn't born Jewish, but he was the king. But he through some political maneuvers got the job, and was made
political maneuvers.
Yes, which we don't have time to go into tonight. But okay. He was governor for a while, and then he kind of set himself up as king. Once he kind of got control of the area, he was like, okay, now I'm king. And everybody's like, okay, I guess he is. He used to ride around with a 2,000 soldier entourage. Like everywhere he went, he had 2,000 soldiers, like just a little bodyguard, 2,000. Okay. So great builder, temple, all that kind of stuff. But he was also like really, what's the word I'm looking for? He was really suspicious of people.
Oh, always.
And
looking
like always thinking everybody's trying to take over his throne. Okay. So I'm just going to read a couple of notes here. He had his favorite wife killed because of rumors that she was having an affair when their child Aristobulus was 3 years old, and he heard that she might be having an affair, and so he had her killed. even though she was his favorite. He married some other women besides her, but like that was his favorite and still done.
What a rational decision.
Yeah. And then their son, he had several sons. Their son, Aristobulus, and his brother, or maybe half brother, Alexander, like Aristobulus was supposed to be king after Herod, but Herod, like, for whatever reason, was worried about, I guess, the kind of popularity that they were gaining, whatever. Anyway, he had both of them strangled for treason.
So his son and his half brother?
Of treason. His son and, well, another son of his, Aristobulus and Alexander were half brothers. Okay. So he killed two of his sons because he was worried about the kind of power and kind of popularity
Merry Christmas.
that they were having. So this is the guy that the Magi come to and go, hey, we heard about the new king.
Oh, bad choice of words.
Yeah. So you can understand why, if you never knew this before, why in Matthew chapter 2, when it says they came to Herod and Herod's like, it seems really afraid of this. Yeah. Of this new baby that's been born somewhere. The reason is, like, that's his personality. Yeah. He is so consumed with rumors of treason and people, taking over his power and his authority. He just has them killed. Like his own family, he has them killed. So then these guys show up out of nowhere and like, hey, we know there's supposed to be a new king. Where's he at? We want to worship him. What?
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he does the whole like kind of wrap around like, hey, why don't you guys like go and see him so like I can worship him?
Yeah. So
that's like that totally makes sense then. With
let me come worship him too. What's he actually going to do? He's going to show up. He's going to kill the baby. I mean, that's the plan.
Yeah. And the Magi don't know any different.
Right. But then that gets revealed to them. And so they end up taking off. When they leave, they take off another way. And that's why he, at that point, all the babies in that area, he has them slaughtered. Any male children 2 years and younger has them slaughtered. And it's what Jewish folks in their history call the slaughter of the innocents. It's hundreds of babies that were killed because Herod was trying to kill Jesus.
This is totally, and this is kind of off topic, but totally makes me think of the Exodus too.
Yeah,
because
with
like
Moses.
this guy is, I mean, that's what the authors are trying to point us to. I think is like, this is like a new Pharaoh, and where Moses came to deliver the people. Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
So Jesus is coming to deliver us out of darkness and sin.
Get out,
and somebody's trying to kill him. In the process.
Cool. I don't know why I just
yeah.
That's cool. So that makes sense then. So they're coming so that they can report back to Herod, and this is taking a little bit of time. That it's not right after he's born, but it's a couple.
Which is why, again, that's why we say, it's probably not the night that Jesus was born when the Magi showed up. It's probably, within 2 years, because that's why he slaughters these kids 2 years and younger. So still an infant, maybe a toddler, but Joseph and Mary hightail it for Egypt to escape the slaughter that's happening
via an angel. That here we go. Now Joseph's getting some more angels. Like, now it's time to go. Yeah. All right, I can.
Remember how I told you it's okay to marry Mary because this is from God. Now you need to get up and go.
To leave.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah. And so Jesus spent some time as a toddler in Egypt.
Yeah.
As a refugee.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know. It's just weird to kind of think of it in these terms. I know.
So. We have so much more that we could unpack from this, but we're not going to tonight because you have given us this much of your time, and we're very appreciative of that. We're gonna not necessarily pick the ball up right here next week, but we are going to talk more about the birth of Jesus and a little bit more of just kind of the
here's the perfect Savior that's born sinless, never sinned, and is this beautiful depiction of light and love and service coming from a lineage of terrible things.
Just people making awful choices. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna focus on next week. Yeah. So any other comments, questions that you guys had that, like, even if you view this later, you come back to it later. First of all, share this with anybody that you want to. And then secondly, if there's something that we talked about, you're like, man, I want to know more about that. Feel free to comment on here. We'll look at comments, or you can message us personally and we'll answer whatever questions that we can.
If you guys have any insights into this story, like especially for a story that we read hundreds of times in our lifetime, that you're just like, man, this really sticks out to me this year for some reason. Man, let us know that too. Those are so cool.
Please
those are so cool. So write some of those things down in the comments too, so we can be like, I had not thought of that before, because I love that stuff. I love that stuff.
And that's what we want to do together for tonight, for the next couple of weeks, is just like really dive into the story of God coming to our world, and how it's more than just, okay, Jesus showed up, okay, he died on the cross, and now he's back in heaven. There's so much more to it, and just the circumstances, just peeling back some of the things we talked about tonight and recognizing some of the circumstances of Jesus even entering our world, just the danger and the chaos and the scandal and all that. It just makes it even so much more impressive that God did what he did. That God sent Jesus into our world. And I hope that resonates with you guys tonight. And I appreciate you taking your time with us. Anything else? Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching with us. It's a really good time. We're going to meet up next time at the same time.
Yeah. So next Thursday, 6:30. We'll see you then.
Unscripted. Sounds good, guys. Right. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. Have a good rest of the week. We'll see you next week.